Today, I'm going to be ticking something pretty major off my bucket list. I am going to my first ever Chinese wedding and I could not be more excited. So how did this all come about? Well, last week when I was filming in Fuzhou with Aaron and Shady, I mentioned that I've never been to a Chinese wedding and I'm desperate to go and experience it. And Shady was like, well, I'm going to one in a few days. Like, do you want me to see if I can get you an invite? And I was like, hell yeah. So at the very last minute, I actually managed to snag an invite to this wedding of which I don't know anyone involved, and I'm very, very thankful that I get to experience it. So this whole wedding adventure, it started yesterday. I got on a train at Quanzhou and it took me about 2.5 hours to get here to Fuding city. So Fuding is a small city in Fujian province. It's the only reason I've ever heard of Fuding is because they have a very famous white tea from here called Baihai Yinzhen, or silver needle tea. So I'll have to get my hands on some of that before I leave. Two of the wedding guests came to pick me up from the station, which was super, super nice. And they took me to eat some local Fuding cuisine. And we had this really interesting dish called roupian. I've never seen it before. And it's basically like this mashed meat, like a mashed potato. It looks like mashed potato, but mashed meat, if you know, get what I'm saying. And then she would take a segment of it and then kind of flick it in little pieces with a fork into this big boiling pot of hot water where it would cook.
这个肉片是Fuding的特色吗？
And then the end result came with that meat served in this really beautiful soup.
It smells very coriander-y, very fresh, kind of Southeast Asian-y.
Spicy?
A little spicy. That's good.
Oh my gosh, and the texture of this meat was just indescribable. It was like, I want to say chewy, but not chewy because it had resistance. It didn't bounce back. It was really, really lovely. So in typical Chinese fashion, after eating what I assumed was like dinner-ish, we were taken from this local restaurant to the groom's parents' house where they were fixing a feast of mammoth proportions. There was so much seafood there on this big table being prepared. So I had to like mentally prepare my head and my stomach for an onslaught of food. So I was seated at the table. I was the only girl at the table. I was seated with a bunch of lovely men. I was bringing the feminine energy to the table that night. And yeah, and basically the food just started coming and it didn't stop. It got to a stage where they were piling plates on top of plates on top of plates, and there was a literal mountain of food on this table, and it was just like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm glad I had a snack before this, but I was very happy when the dumplings came out and I kind of lit up and suddenly I was hungry. So from my Western eyes, this kind of felt like the rehearsal dinner in some way, like the big dinner before the wedding, except for an interesting fact that the bride and groom were not there yet. Long story short, there are multiple weddings in Chinese culture, like one for the bride's family, one for the groom's family. So the first wedding was 2 days ago in the bride's hometown. And then it's tradition, it seems, to drive from the bride's family home to the groom's family home. And it just so happens that it's about a 7-8 hour drive. So I'm there like, oh my gosh, you poor people. Like, you've had to have one wedding, feel absolutely exhausted, and then drive a whole day, and then be late to your own rehearsal dinner, and then have another wedding the following day. Like, I was like, wow, that's hard work. But the rehearsal dinner, nevertheless, was thoroughly enjoyed by all. There were a lot of drinking games, but not as you know it, going on around the table. It was honestly the funniest thing I've ever seen. They were playing this extremely complicated version of scissors, paper, rock. It's the only thing I could equate it to.
好，来过，好，六顺可良，好，真心。
So the loser wouldn't be made to drink alcohol in a normal drinking game, but actually like a concoction of bits of each of the soups or each of the sauces from every dish around the table. Oh my gosh. Ew, it looked so gross. But I guess this game made a lot of sense because today I'm sure there's going to be a lot of drinking involved, so I can understand why they'd want to like keep their stamina the day before. And also it was a great way of clearing up the leftovers. Like I thought there was no way we were going to get through all that food, but after a few rounds of that game, it was pretty tidily cleared up. Super interesting start to my first ever Chinese wedding experience, but today is already tomorrow. Yeah. It's the next day now. Anyway, we're gonna head to start the festivities now. I have no idea what to expect. Yeah, let's go. Okay, we've just hopped into a taxi. We are on our way to the bride, to her dressing room / makeup area. And it sounds like we're gonna be playing like games or something. I don't really understand, but I guess we'll see. 你今天好漂亮。谢谢。你紧张吗？会。So the bride is looking absolutely fantastic. She's starting the day off wearing a gown of white, and she just told me that it's very normal in Chinese weddings these days to have a Western style gown, a white gown, and also a Chinese style gown, a red gown. So I guess the red dress will come out a bit later. 你下午穿的那个红色的是像这个一样吗？就是这种中式的。哦。今天第一步是什么？ Like 我们要做什么？
新郎会过来接新娘，然后呢，我们不会轻易的放他们进来，就是会让他们闯关嘛，通关，会设很多游戏的关卡，
好吧？
让他们一关一关进，然后还要塞很多红包，
塞很多小红包。
对对对，先就是那个叫开门红包嘛。 然后新娘一个是最大的，开了之后嘛，然后她就要进来，然后我们就叫她做啥，她就得做啥。
So I don't quite understand why, but it seems that we have to bar the doors so that the groom cannot get in, and then we play games with him, and he has to like maybe prove his love in some way, and then you eventually let him in. Look at Shady, he's ready to bar the door. Are you ready?
藏哪里？
你们在干嘛？
就把鞋子藏起来。
为什么？
洗锁。
古代有一种说法，把这个婚礼的那个礼俗弄得就是复杂一点、繁琐一点，然后人结一次之后就怕了，他就不会再离婚了，也不会再结婚了。扫啊！新娘的要很大啊，新娘的不大不行。
太少。
来拿去。
我们都没有。
有。
还有啊。
7、8、9，如果不够的话，在座的都有收款码，很方便。因为今天这个红包感觉很薄啊。那个新娘的红包呢？ 把萌萌的手机拿出来给他扫一个，来，萌。
So they've pushed through the door like 25 of these hongbao, and there's like little money inside. And now they're making him send more via phone, via QR code.
5年，来看一下史上最抠的新郎，52块。
Oh my god! Okay, apparently money wasn't enough.
没钱。
More money needs to be sent.
Wow, the cash.
Oh.
来。
This has just descended into a money fest. There is so much money being handed through the door, so much money being transferred via WeChat and Alipay. It's really quite hilarious. It seems that enough money has been sent, so it's time to open the door. The doors are opening.
OK， 请进。
Woohoo!
好了，列队，半栏列队。
What's happening?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Yeah.
后面，如果没跳起来的。 动作很敷衍的，那我们就不算啊。预备，开始。看这边啊。
剪刀我们有的，过来，过来。快点，不跳，可以。
So if you're not a good dancer, you need to do push-ups. Red socks.
数到这边。
Okay, after sending thousands of renminbi, dancing, doing push-ups, it seems it's finally ready to see the bride.
你把新娘的鞋子找出来。
很好。
第一条，老婆永远是对的。第二条，如果老婆错了，请参照第一条。这样的老婆是第一位，我是第4位。哎，不对啊，我不是第2位吗？
宝宝还有狗。
还狗。老婆，我们走吧。
I I don't know if all Chinese weddings are this way. Please comment below if not. But so far I'm getting the vibe that, you know, Chinese weddings are very light-hearted, very fun. You know, we're hiding shoes, we're barricading doors, we're getting the groom to profess his love, we're earning money. You know, it's awesome. I'm having so much fun. Okay, it seems like that's the end of the first act for today. Shady, where are we going now?
Their house.
Oh, wedding cars. Loving these car decorations. We are the first car in a procession of wedding cars, all beautifully decorated with red flowers and Hello Kitties. Have a check. Oh my god, I got firecracker in my mouth.
成双，来来。
Oh, 谢谢。Shady,
Yo，
what's this about with the cigarettes?
因为这个叫好事成双，所有的人在场，所有的宾客他都会分烟，然后都是分2根。
哦，
对，
然后我不抽烟。
但是你也要收下它。
哦
对，这是一种尊重，就是一种文化。
明白。Okay, so interesting thing. The groom is going around handing around 2 cigarettes to everyone. At first I was like, I don't smoke, sorry, but then Shady just told me that it's actually the polite thing to do to always accept it. It's like a respect thing. So now I have 2 cigarettes.
You will have more tonight.
More cigarettes, just collecting all the cigarettes.
Oh, look at you.
Look at me.
Good.
One for each ear. It's not classy. And then it was time for round 2 of feasting.
来敬你酒哦，大美女。
After lunch, no activities planned. I've come back to the hotel and really just sleeping off all that food. I'll see you in a few hours. Rest time is over. It wasn't as long as expected because dinner is actually going to be starting at 4:30 p.m. because a lot of the guests on the wife's side, on the bride's side, are actually driving back to Jiangxi province tonight, right? So like 5 or 6 hour drive.
I think it's 6 or 7 hours.
Oh my god, like why would you want to do that to yourself? And then the bride was back in her traditional red outfit. It was so beautiful and it had intricate gold details everywhere. So then the food started coming. There was prawns, lobster, abalone, sashimi. Literally every sea creature in the ocean was on display tonight. And then it was time for a very interesting tradition. The bride and groom went around to every single guest at the wedding and bowed in front of them. In exchange, they seemed to be collecting a lot of hongbao, and these ones looked really thick. The poor things would have done at least 200 squats. What is this bowing thing all about?
折包，跪拜长辈，也就是这边的一个传统。对。
你累吗？ So Shady, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems that there's no specific point in the day today that they go from being boyfriend and girlfriend, an engaged couple, to being husband and wife. Whereas in Western countries, like, you know, we walk down the aisle, we say I do, and then we now pronounce you husband and wife. Am I right in saying that there's no specific point in time where they are, like, technically married?
Not in China.
Not in China. Are they already married now?
Yeah.
So they're married?
Yeah.
Okay. When did that happen?
You can sign papers.
Oh, so they already signed papers?
Yeah. Sometimes after wedding. Sometimes it happens after wedding or before wedding, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please comment below
below if that's correct or not. I'm not sure. But I guess Shady is sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
Sure. I'll trust you. Don't comment below. Don't disagree with Shady.
Don't fuck with me. Don't with me.
I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering, you've decided to wear a hoodie and sweats to a wedding. So I guess in China you can pretty much wear whatever you want, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there anything you should avoid wearing to a Chinese wedding?
Some people avoid like black color. Yeah.
What about red?
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine. Okay.
But red, it's more like New Year, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about white? Is white okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
All is okay. So just wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Even if that is a hoodie and sweats.
Yeah, just like this.
Just be comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was time for the games to begin. But this time, there was a lot of alcohol involved.
2块钱啊，5块钱，3块钱啊，4块钱。
Okay, by this stage, everyone is pretty tipsy, pretty drunk, and I think we're about to start the craziest game of them all.
So first, the entire dinner party was split into 2 teams. Then they would play a hand game, in which one would win and one would lose. The loser of the first round would have to drink 1 whole beer by themselves. The next person to lose would need to drink 2 beers, but this time with the help of their team. Each team would continue like this and make their way through their beer pyramid. And they'll keep going until the other side has drunk all of their beers.
So how many times do they play this game?
Usually it's 5 to 10 times.
Oh my god, they must get so drunk.
Crazy. Yeah.
And then the next thing I knew, this was happening. Yes, that is a lobster head on his head. What a day, what a day. That was absolutely incredible. I had the most amazing time. I'm so happy that I got to experience that. I also learned today that weddings vary greatly depending on what part of the country you're from, whether you're north or south, or whether you're from this village or that village, it'll all vary. So if you get the chance to go to a Chinese wedding yourself, it may be completely different from the one that I've shown you today, but I can guarantee you're gonna have a lot of fun. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.